welcome to the final of Grand Prix Vienna. Here we have just 2 players left playing for that trophy you see in the background there. On the left of our screen we've got Robin Dolar playing Esper. He just had a whale of a match against Jeremy Dezani to make this final. On the right hand side we have Marcin Staciwa of Poland. He's playing Mono Blue. I'm Tim Willoughby, here with Raphael Levy, member of the Hall of Fame, to give you all of the details on this match as it happens. The players are just getting ready to kick off. If you want to read the text coverage, we're going to have it up on Daily MTG very, very soon. But in the meantime, here on video, the finals of GP Vienna. Temple of Silence there from Robin Dolar. He gets a quick scry off the top of his deck. And now it's over to Staciwa, his is the deck that can have the really fast starts, right?
Robin was first seeded after the round, so that's why he got the play, and they didn't roll the die to...
And actually, Staciwa, he was second seeded, so these two, they finished top of the Swiss, and they're right back in the finals again. And there we see a Frostburn Weird from Staciwa, 2 Devotion to blue already on the board, and potentially a comparatively hefty attacker as well. Dolar, perhaps unexpectedly, entirely expectedly, sorry, not really playing a huge amount in the early turns, waiting for something to respond to from Staciwa. Here's the control deck. He's looking to keep creatures off the board where he can, minimize the damage that he takes early, because later on in the game, that's where he really starts to take a grip on things.
His plan is to win with the Everlings, so his game is pretty slow. His game plan is taking a while to set up.
But given that there's not been huge amounts of aggression from Staciwa in the early game, all kind of playing into Dolar's hands, really. Dolar wants to make sure he hits every land drop, minimizes the damage he takes in the first 4 to 6 turns, whereas Staciwa, really, what he wants to be doing is getting lots of creatures on the board, ideally getting lots of blue mana symbols in play, because then when he casts the likes of Master of Waves or Thassa, that devotion to blue pays off in a big, big way. He gets extra elementals, he gets a god that can immediately be attacking for 5 damage a turn.
So he's attacking again. He attacked last turn for 2, keeping a blue mana open.
Doing so again. I don't think that Staciwa has a huge amount in the way of counter spells in game 1. We might see things change quite dramatically in game 2.
He doesn't have any.
So a Judge is familiar there. I guess kind of a counter spell there. That a 1/1 for 1. It's got flying, and you can sacrifice it to force your opponent's spell to be countered unless they pay an additional 1 mana for it.
So Robin is just playing more lands, not doing much, scrying.
And Temple of Silence there, letting him look at the top of his deck. He can either keep it there or stick it on the bottom, improving his draws gradually, even as he's playing his lands. And we can see there's already an Aetherling in Robin Dolar's hand. Now, the Aetherling costs 6, but realistically he's not going to cast it until at least turn 7, because he wants to keep up a little bit of mana to protect that creature, which is his main win condition.
They have each other's deck list, so he knows that Marcin is running a rapid hybridization main deck, just 1 to deal with the Aetherling. So maybe he might not need that 7th mana.
Oh, he could just get really aggressive with the 4/4. That's interesting, yeah. So Staciwa here attacking for 2 and then playing Thassa, God of the Sea. So at the moment he's only got 4 devotion, but as soon as he gets 1 more blue permanent in play, that'll be a 5/5.
I don't think this one is resolving.
And there we see
Resolve.
it. Resolve. He's got 1 mana left open just in case Judge's Familiar wanted to do its thing. Dissolve lets him scry, stays on top. Not necessarily what Staciwa wanted to see there. And a Sphinx's Revelation. That one of the hallmark cards of this Esper control deck. 3 mana, then pay X, draw X cards, gain X life. Makes it so difficult for these more aggressive decks to gain traction.
So do you Supreme Verdict here?
It's certainly tempting. I mean,
oh, just play Everlings. That was the plan. That was the plan I talked about.
Let's get this game over really fast. So that Aetherling, naturally a 4/4. He can pay a blue mana to remove it from the game until the end of turn so that he can dodge removal spells. He can pay blue mana to make it unblockable, and then pay mana of any color he wants to pump its power at the cost of reducing its toughness a little bit. So it represents a pretty short clock, and one that's very difficult to deal with once it's in play.
So his plan is probably to force Marcin to play extra creatures to commit on the board, because a lone bird and a frostbitten bird are not going to raise an Netherling. So
Not
Marcin
at
is
all,
going to commit to the board, and Robin's going to play Supreme Verdict.
Simple as that.
And sweep everything after he's flickered his own Netherling.
Yeah, so you can remove Aetherling from the game. While it's removed from the game, cast Supreme Verdict, kill all the creatures. Then at the end of the turn, Aetherling comes back and, holy cow, one creature on the board, and it's not going to take very long for it to end things.
Oh, he had it. The one hybridization in his deck.
That's a rough one for Robin Dolar. He's now just going to have to go for the... he's going to have to use the Supreme Verdicts just to sort of stabilize the board. Far from over. It's not as if that's the only Aetherling in Dolar's deck, but he doesn't have loads of them. Just 2 copies, one of them already dealt with, so he's going to have to be very careful about the second one.
So either Jace or Supreme Verdict.
And there's Jace.
So asking for a little more commitment. Please just play more creatures so I can, kill them all.
Yeah, so he's used the +1 ability there, so attacking creatures from Staciwa will have -1 power.
And the frog is doing a good job, like blocking and making sure Jace is not being attacked too much.
So Dolar, a little unfortunate to run into that one of rapid hybridization. We can see there a huge crowd of players watching this match, supporting both sides. I mean, we have Staciwa is from Poland. We can see a number of Polish players and judges sat watching the match very intently, supporting him. And then we have Dolar from Slovenia, also with a huge amount of support here.
Another just familiar.
And that, of course, causing the Cloudfin Raptor to evolve. So it now 1-2.
I think it's going to be time for Supreme Verdict now. He has waited enough.
Yeah, he's gonna get 4 creatures for his 1 card, which is pretty solid.
No attacks.
Interesting.
I guess another turn cannot hurt either. Just be a little more greedy.
Well, as long as Jace is ticking up, the judges' familiars don't do anything on attacks. The Frostburn Weird needs mana to do much on attacks, and it's not as if Marcin has loads of that. And the Cloudfin Raptor at the moment is a 1 power guy, so yeah, there might be a little bit more waiting around. We see there in the background the trophy for the Vienna 2013
Very
champion.
pretty. I like it.
I'm sure that either of these players would be very happy to have that on their mantelpiece. A slightly smaller version with finalists available to the finalists,
That
but
one sucks.
yeah, that one's harder to explain to people. It's like, I'm a champion. Yeah, that's what we want to be able to say.
When you're sitting in the playing the finals, and you end up with the small one, no, you don't want second place.
Now the attack here from the Frog Lizard to me says,
Yeah, I'm gonna have the verdict.
yeah.
Oh look, I don't have it. I'm just gonna look for it.
Now,
So lands in Doomblade.
control decks do love to get lands in play each and every turn of the game, so I don't think that Dolar's going to mind too much how the split works out here.
He might go for 2 lands. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, we know that he's
And
already
guess
got...
what? He's not gonna say go.
No, there's more action here. Kapow. Can't be countered. Nothing to be done about that.
Yeah. Okay, not playing. Oh, he's not sacrificing the second one.
And Staciwa now with just 3 lands in play. Not a whole lot of action at all over there. Mutavault can come in and attack Jace down to 1 counter, but that in itself, not enough to completely neutralize the Planeswalker. So a Frostburn Weird there meets a small nod from Robin Dolar. Not too worried about that creature. Sometime fairly soon, it might be time to start casting some Sphinx's Revelations at end of turn, drawing a few
Probably
extra
next
cards.
turn. 2.
Oh, the old player land untapped, take 2 and pass.
You could see on Marcin, the way Marcin was acting, his shoulder were low.
Yeah.
He's like sighing a little. That game was not going the way he
Yeah,
wanted.
a fairly clear tell that there might be a
Yeah.
Sphinx's revelation coming.
I
And
know.
Judge's Familiar means that, in response, I'm just going to draw all these cards. Let's not worry too much about the Judge's Familiar slowing things
Alright.
down. And
He's
Staciwa
not
says,
even trying.
yeah. So,
The game is not timed, but
yeah.
he could have just played fast and
He knew that he had a bunch of lands in hand. He was just showing them there. Oh, that's him showing that he only had 3 lands in total for the game. So, a smile on his face, though. You know, he's seen what's happened. Whether or not he knows about exactly how Dolar is going to sideboard is interesting, because when we saw Dolar in the semi-finals against Jeremy Desani, absolutely huge plays with Packrat, games 2 and 3, that got Robin Dolar through to the final. And I spoke to Dolar about his semi-finals matchup and the final game that we watched, which you will be able to watch on the archive on twitch.tv if you wish, once we sort of finish downloading the event. Spoke to him a little bit about that game, and he said he'd mulliganed to 6 cards, and he had a 1-land hand, and it was a scry land, and he said, yeah, it was looking a bit tricky, but I was on the draw, and I was like, maybe I should mulligan a little bit more, try and find a Packrat. As it turns out, he got the lands he needed. He naturally drew into the Packrat, and Packrat basically completely dominated
the game. Yeah.
and actually dominated game 2 as well. So that was really the key card for him in making it to the finals. I would expect to see plenty more from that. He's got 3 of them in his sideboard. They'll all be coming in, I'm sure. It'll be interesting to see how controlling Staciwa wishes to be in the final 1 or 2 games of this finals, because he has got more possibilities of bringing in more counter magic, Gainsay for example, but that won't do anything about Packrat. So it looks like 1 rapid hybridization, 4 Gainsay, 2 negate coming in. Also 1 negate, 1 Jace.
Where's this card he brought in? Another.
Another Biden, was that?
Yeah, I think so. Was that promo Biden?
Yes, quite possibly.
Okay.
I don't think it was a Ratchet Bomb.
No. Ratchet Bomb can actually be very good in this matchup.
To deal with Packrats?
To deal with Packrats and to deal with detention spheres.
That makes sense.
Because end of turn, for 3 mana, with 3 counters, end of turn destroy all your detention spheres. They don't have that many ways to deal with all your guys coming back as an instant speed.
That's
If,
interesting.
for example, it kept, let's say, Master of Waves and Thassa, and you get them back, then you get to attack with everything, unless they have a Doom Blade or a Hero's Downfall. But in any case, it's very tricky when there's a Ratchet Bomb in play, if they should play another Detention Sphere or if they should wait, but then you can play your threats. So that's a card we had in the sideboard in Protoferus against Esper.
So maybe we will see that in there. We see that Staciwa still having a look at his deck and trying to figure out those last tweaks to make from his sideboard. And Dolar doing the same. Looks like he's just having a little sneaky peeky. The Etherlings look like they've come out.
In that matchup, he's not bringing in the Pithing Needle. That means Ratchet Bomb would actually be good.
Yeah, because of course Pithing Needle, a great answer to Ratchet Bomb. But no, that one's staying in the board, so the player's shuffling up.
He brought it in against Jeremy because Jeremy had more Jaces. He had Jace Memory Adapt.
Yeah, just the one Jace Architect of Thought in Staciwa's sideboard, and it is coming in. And Dolar, quick to shuffle up and present. Staciwa still having a little bit of a think as to what the best plan's going to be against this Esper deck. And I guess here, Dolar knew that he was going to be playing against a bunch of mono blue all weekend, so he'll have a relatively clear plan that it may be slightly impacted by the details of the exact list that he has in front of him, but I'm guessing that it's a fairly standardized plan that just has maybe very slight nuances based on individual lists. It's interesting, of course, that sort of the pack rat plan almost turns Dolar's Esper deck into something akin to the mono black decks that we saw last weekend winning Albuquerque. It gives him a different angle of attack that has proven really helpful against these mono blue decks, partly just because, unlike in the mono black deck, it's not necessarily something that the mono blue player will be ready for from this deck.
It feels like the plan is to play around Gensei.
Yeah.
You don't want your actual threats to Gensei. Your Etherlings are not going to do much.
Yeah.
It's 2-mana counter spells.
And the same is kind of true of the sideboard plan that we saw for Stanislav Sivka in this format. He had Archangel of Thune as his go-to threat after sideboarding for what's a creatureless blue-white control deck beforehand. A very interesting little modification that proved very effective for him. He managed to make the top 8, only to fall to Jeremy Dazani in the quarterfinals. Some final shuffling here from Staciwa. No point not giving it a properly good old shuffle here. Very unfortunate to end up in a position where your concerns about not having properly randomized leave you sort of having a bad taste in your mouth about perhaps a lousy draw. And we can see there, cameras on all angles, spectators looking from every direction. There's quite the crowd around the feature match area. Plenty of players pulling for both sides in this matchup.
Some more shuffling, and we're gonna get to game 2 of the finals.
Yeah.
Last match.
And it's been quite the weekend. I think that there was a concern at the start of the weekend that we would be seeing loads of mono black, loads of mono blue, and not necessarily a whole lot else. And that we certainly have seen quite a bit of mono blue. Mono black never quite came through in the numbers that we anticipated.
I think there were a lot of mono black decks. There were a lot, but they
didn't quite pull through to the top tables. And actually, on the top tables, even in this top 8, we've seen a whole variety of decks. There's been more or less white weenie with a bit of red. There's been mono red devotion. I mean, this Esper deck, the blue white control deck, that's different enough that I think it's worth separating out on its own. There are certainly a lot of options this format, and for anyone that's preparing for Dallas, there is still a lot to think about in this format. Rich Hagen will be there next week, the final weekend of 3 weeks of standard GPs, as we begin to sort of close out 2013 in terms of premier events. Looks like the players getting their opening hands now.
There's a lot of lands on the Robin side.
Yeah, so that's what, 5 lands and then an Azorius Charm and a Doomblade.
Probably a keeper.
Esper's definitely happier with lots of lands than many decks. Staciwa he's just set his hand on the table. Maybe this means he's keeping, maybe it means he's thinking. We'll find out soon enough.
Maybe he's thinking of his first turn. Is
There,
it a Raptor or a Raptor?
Raptor's a perfectly fine start, and Temple of Deceit there from Robin Dolar. A little bit of a scry to start things off.
So probably Nolan on top. Frostbite Weird, yes.
All right, a little bit of evolution to begin. 1 point of damage coming through on Robin Dolar. Let's see what he left on top. That a Supreme Verdict, right on time.
Right on, yeah, well, he knew about it.
Absolutely. And
Right on time would have been on turn 4.
Sure. Casting Supreme Verdict on turn 4 is definitely one of the things that's kind of on the tick sheet for Esper in terms of how it's going to win the game. It means that he can be relatively confident he's not going to be in too much trouble from the very early game from Staciwa, and the mid and late game is really where the Esper deck shines.
Exactly. So which land? This one.
Taking a couple of points to play that Godless Shrine untapped, so he has now got the Esper Charm at the ready, and he's also representing the likes of Gainsay.
All right. That's a play I would. I'm not a control player,
Sure.
and that's something that would never have crossed my mind.
I mean, it feels to me like the biggest threats from Staciwa aren't necessarily on turn 3, but if this holds off a Thassa, then I'm sure that Dolar will be pretty happy. Just the 2 points coming in from Staciwa here.
So he's just going to cycle his charm?
There is Thassa, so asking the question, and if ever you wanted to be sure that there isn't a gainsay in your opponent's hand, you cast a big threat on turn 3 and then nothing happens. Cycles the Azorius Charm, draws in another one immediately. And yeah, Staciwa has to be fairly happy with how that turn went.
Oh yeah. You sneak in 2 more damage.
Now from turn 3 onwards, Dolar can represent the dissolve. He chooses not to here. And every turn from now on, because of that Thassa God of the Sea, Marcin Staciwa will be able to scry from the top of his deck. He chose not to put that on the bottom there, drawing it immediately. And
it's a Nykthos. Wow.
So Nykthos, Shrine for Nyx, that's now tapping for 4 mana. 4 blue mana.
Master of Waves. Oh, wow.
Bident of Thassa. That the promo Bident of Thassa, hence the foilification. We weren't quite sure which artifact it was coming in, but now we know. And Thassa's coming in. Now Thassa's a pretty good target for this Azorius Charm, right?
I think, no, he's probably going to play the... Well, wait, what's going on?
So if he bounces the Frostburn Weird, then there's still 5... Oh, there's just 4 devotion there, yeah.
So it was either Azorius Charm or Doomblade on the Frostburn Weird. Depending on how many cards Marcin has. He has 2. So what's going on?
Yeah, it looks like, well, the Azorius Charm's clearly been cast, and yes, it is going to the top of Staciwa's deck. But he's immediately drawing it from the Bident of Thassa.
All right.
Not necessarily the play that, I mean, there are a lot of options there, not necessarily the one that you would have gone for, Raf?
I don't know. That sounds pretty strange, because he's not going to be able to counter it next turn. And he let Marcin draw a lot of cards.
The alternative line of play there, of course, something to deal with the Frostburn Weird, meaning that Devotion wasn't turned on anymore, so that god would no longer have been a creature, so only one creature would have been hitting Robin Dolar.
Yeah, I think the charm would have been better later in the game. He wanted to make to get as much value as from Supreme Verdict as possible, but by doing that, he let Marcin draw an extra card. So it's about the same thing. He's not scrying next turn, but he's gonna have Thassa online next turn.
And Thassa, when it comes, so here's a Supreme Verdict. No more creatures on the board for now.
So Thassa is gonna come back pretty soon. Thassa and her Bident are a good way to actually beat Esper.
Yeah, I mean, all of the gods with their weapons are pretty powerful, but Thassa coming down on turn 3 and setting up scries and draws, you know that from then on you're basically just going to be drawing awesome cards.
Oh,
Night Veil Spectre. All right, I mean, I guess this way round, he's got his creature on the board ready to attack, but I kind of like having Thassa in play, I think. And a Devour Flesh here from Robin Dolar, able to...
He gives him a window to actually draw a counterspell for Thassa.
I guess maybe if Staciwa felt like the reason for the Azorius Charm was that there was a counterspell coming, maybe that was him trying to sort of bait it out.
All right, yeah, it could be. But no, because he was tapped out last turn.
Yes, sorry, yes.
So Stasa is gonna probably come back, or not yet. Just play some more guys. Yeah, and to use Niktas to the full power.
So many lines of play with this mono blue deck that Staciwa, like the stamina it takes. This is the 18th round of standard.
It's a lot of matches.
I mean,
It's a lot of magic.
Even with buys, it's a long weekend of play. And Staciwa here making 4 mana with his Nykthos, casting Thassa.
And it's back. It meets no Gensei. So,
Now there could be an end of turn play here from Dolar. He does
I'm
have a
not sure.
Doomblade.
I'm not sure he wants to do that. I think he wants to be able to keep his Doomblade for like a next turn attack and then kill the creature, kill the other creature. If he can kill the Force Between as a sorcery, it would have been an option.
Yeah.
And keep the Doomblade just to prevent the next attack, because now he doesn't have an answer to a Win, for example.
Yeah.
And his Supreme Verdict doesn't do anything.
So any blue permanent will make Thassa into a creature. And
Not any blue, any 2 blue. Any blue permanent.
oh, I apologize. Yes, sorry. So Jace, Architect of Thought coming down.
So looking for some pack rats now. Oh, wow, that's a pretty good one.
Land and some pretty good spells. There's already one Sphinx's Revelation in Robin Dolar's hand.
Detention Sphere is what he wants. I think he would take Detention Sphere over land and Revelation.
And it may be that he gets a bit better than that, just because putting land next to a Sphinx's Revelation is the sort of thing that like no one really wants to do because they work so well together.
And since he hasn't played the land this turn, he might think the land is relevant.
This is the joy of putting your opponent to decisions. Normally you're not that keen on giving your opponent decisions, but in this case, where either way around you get cards, not so bad.
Taking a lot of time to decide whether the sphere is given with a land or not.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of
Yeah,
it's a tricky choice.
full value.
So yeah, not keen to put the Sphinx's Revelation next to any lands, and that just playing into Robin Dolar's hands here. There's the land, no point hiding it. Passes it back.
Jace did a great job here. And now if Marcin plays a guy and attacks with Tessa,
Well, there's your 2 Devotion.
and attack with Tessa, he's probably gonna attack Jace, so no draws. Unless he wants to attack Robin directly.
And Robin on 12, and this is a good opportunity to reduce that fairly sizably, but no,
So
gets rid of
no
Jace.
draws.
Now, Staciwa has rapid hybridization in his hand. And in principle, one option available to him, if he just wants to make sure he gets more draws, is to target Thassa with it.
Yeah.
Fail to destroy it because it's indestructible, but still get his 3/3.
That would be very good. I think that might be his next play. Like, what would be, unless he plays a sphere, Robin plays sphere, and Marcin respond with the hybridization, and then Robin can play his Supreme Verdict for full value.
Oh wow, yeah. I mean, I don't know how much Dolar will be playing around this sort of thing, so... I mean, at the moment the Supreme Verdict is a 1-for-1.
Yeah.
None too exciting.
A lot of decisions here.
Absolutely, yeah. This kind of the point in the game where, in principle, Dolar's deck should kind of be taking control, but in practice, with Thassa on the board and potentially lots of card drawing from the mono blue deck and unblockability, Dolar needs to tread very carefully indeed.
Yeah, this card's so hard to deal with. All right. He kind of showed he had the land, so he's not going to be able to bluff the no fourth land for the Supreme Verdict. So pay 2 life. Maybe he's going to say go and take the whole thing.
So he's now looking at Sphinx's Revelation.
Oh wow.
Okay, so there is the rapid hybridization. Just getting threats on the board.
All right, so it's going to be 3 cards.
We do love...
He has to draw now. No, he doesn't want to draw now.
There's the big Sphinx's Revelation.
All right, after the scry effect. All right, that makes sense.
1, 2, 3, 4. The first 2 were lands. The second 2, though, both detention spheres. So now, you know, call the Breakfast Club. There's going to be a lot of detention going on around here.
Well, there's going to be a lot of draws as well. So the attack here is pretty obvious. 5, 8, 9. How much more? Could be 12. 12 would prevent Robin to play an untapped shockland, but it wouldn't matter so much at this point.
It also means top deck mutabolts are just that little bit better.
Right, so that's 12 points. Down to 2.
And 3 cards off the top for Staciwa.
That's the...
Well, we can't quite see them, but anytime you draw 3 is pretty good.
Yeah. And there's a Mutavolt in there. And look at Robin's hand, and there's nothing to deal with the Mutavolt. Only sorceries.
So 1, 2,
So 5.
3, 4, 5, Devotion.
Jace.
There's Jace.
More threats that are more different angles. You have a Planeswalker, you have a God, you have an artifact, you have a land.
And you have backup.
And back up.
So now detention sphere on Thassa, not going to do the trick.
That's a game where Esper actually reached the mid-game, almost the late game, but could not stabilize. And where a Biden of Thassa just
Well, yeah, like
all the work.
so many extra cards for Staciwa here. As much as I know that looking at the chat, there were a lot of moments where they were like, wow, Dolar is drawing so well. And it's true, he was. He was drawing many of the cards that you really want in this matchup.
He was never ahead, though.
No, always playing catch-up.
So that's also a signal. He left Thassa and Jace on the side, and he took Jace. That means, yeah, I do have another Thassa. So just in case you take care of that one.
So, I mean, Gainsay, another fantastic draw for Dolar here, but
Not doing much against Mutavolt. Okay.
you're in detention sphere.
Okay.
You guys are dead.
Are you on 2? Yeah, that should be fine. Play tap land.
Staciwa's like, yep,
All right,
sure.
My turn.
Untap, draw, barely even
Oh,
look at
look.
it, activate my Mutavolt, and
Oh,
skip
you
up your
saw it.
cards.
Oh no, come on. Why? Why didn't you see it? That was quite a great game.
So we're going to get one more game of Magic to decide our champion. It all comes down to this last game.
So is Marcin going to take the trophy of GP Vienna home to Poland, where it belongs?
So the last GP Vienna was won by Mateusz Kopecz, also from Poland, with his deck, which he dubbed Polish Level Blue. And as I recall, he was playing against Nicholas Eigner from Austria,
yeah.
with Dredge. So the Poles have a good history in Vienna. Here though, rather than being up against the Austrians, up against Robin Dolar from Slovenia. So quite a different matchup we got going on here. But in both cases, blue very much a factor in the finals. And we can see fans trying to get a good spot to get a good view of this last game of the tournament. Plenty of shuffling. Possibly not too much more sideboarding. I'm guessing that the plans on the play and the draw don't change dramatically for either of these decks.
Robin has to be aware now that Marcin kept the hybridization,
Yes.
which is going to be relevant if he wants to play, if he relies on the pack red plan.
Yeah. Like he may not run it out on turn 2,
Yeah.
have to think about doing it on turn 5 or later.
Exactly.
Hello everyone, Rich Hagan here, joining the stream just for a couple of minutes while the players shuffle for Game 2. I just wanted to say a very big thank you to each and every one of you who are watching right now, whether you're in the chat room, whether you're watching on a mobile device, giant TV screen at home, or your laptop, your iPad, whatever it is. We're very grateful to you. As most of you know, I'm partially responsible for the European video coverage stream here, and we go to all these European GPs for you, because it's no point us streaming to no one. And we're very grateful to all, well, 10,000 of you, as it is right now, watching the final live. And this is the last match of the European Grand Prix circuit for 2013. Next year, I can tell you that we will be back bigger and better. We've got some fantastic plans involving as many of you as want to come on the journey. So again, a very happy holidays from everyone on the European Grand Prix scene. That's Stephen Leeming, our cameraman, Simon Gertzen, Frank Karsten, Toby Henker, Matej Zatlkai, Moraine Liebert, and of course the team here, Tim Willoughby, Raf Levy, our executive producer Greg Collins back in Seattle, who makes the whole global coverage scene tick, and me, your host, Rich Hagan. I'm not saying bye because we've got a final game to play, but one last time, a happy and peaceful holiday season, and thanks so much for being with us in 2013. And now here for the final time in 2013, your commentators for the final of Grand Prix Vienna, Tim Willoughby and Raf Levy.
Thank you very much, Rich. It looks like the players just finishing shuffling up here. Exciting to see exactly how this match is going to go, because we've already seen Robin Dolar dispatching Jeremy Dezani's mono blue deck in pretty handy fashion with pack rats. Had a bit of trouble last game against Staciwa, but everything to play for, the trophy to play here for in the final game of Grand Prix Vienna. Anyone could win it. I wouldn't want to have to choose before this match who's going to win this last game.
It's mono blue against Esper is always a battle. There's no clear winner before the game is played. There's no favorite.
Certainly not a strong favorite, no.
And Robin is going to be on the play. We'll see how we can deploy his game plan, which mostly is pack rats afterboard against mono blue.
And Staciwa getting a last little shuffle of Dolar's deck. I mean, we saw Dolar win on a mulligan 6, keeping a 1-land hand against Dezani in the last round. His deck, because it's got so many sort of powerful answers, it draws pretty well, and it's got so many scry lands that it can make sure that the cards it doesn't want to draw, it won't necessarily draw.
Right. All right, here we go. 7-7.
Yeah, I want to see 2 7-card hands here. I don't want to see the finals of our event decided on awkward mulligan draws. Three-land Gainsay.
So Tassa, another Gainsay, and Judge Familiar.
Pretty solid.
If I'm not wrong, if I saw all the cards correctly, that should be an okay hand to keep.
And on the other side of things, Robin Dolar, he's the one that has to make the first decision. He's on the play, so he has to say first whether or not he's mulliganing. Looks like both players keeping, though. Go on, then.
Okay, I'll keep that one, sure.
So there's definitely...
He's
He's got a Sphinx's Revelation, he's got a Detention Sphere.
that's a pretty good hand, too.
We're going to have a real game of Magic here.
It's only 2 lands, though.
And neither of them scry lands.
Oh, it's only 2 lands.
So, straight out of the gates here with the first play of this game, Judge's Familiar for Staciwa.
This is not the 3rd land.
Now, we've seen in the past Dolar quite happy to lead with a second untapped land, even at the cost of a bit of pain, in order to represent things. This time he has a Gainsay, but Gainsaying turn 2 threats, not necessarily the most important thing to stop.
Oh, is he gonna? Wow.
He's done it again.
And play Thoughtseize right away.
There it is.
I think he would have been fine by just trading Thoughtseize for a Judge's Familiar.
So yeah, having the land untapped means that Judge's Familiar can't sacrifice to stop what's going on. 2 Gainsays there for Marcin Staciwa. Frostburn Weird, Thassa, God of the Sea, and a couple of lands.
Probably Thassa. What do you think?
I think so. Thassa, once it's on the board, there's comparatively few ways of dealing with it, and it can hit for a lot. And now he knows about those Gainsay, the shape of the game will change a little bit. The pack rat plan becomes that much more attractive.
Yeah. Well, he's going to have to draw a lot of lands in a row. Well, at least 2.
Yeah.
Like, next one is vital. The next one is a plan to win. He's already on 15 on turn 2.
Yeah, having to play that untapped Hallowed Fountain into Thoughtseize, really putting a hurt on. And we will be seeing a Frostburn Weird this turn, I would expect. Not really anything worth gainsaying this early in the game. There it is. The 1-4 that can get pumped if needed.
Oh, that's not a land.
Yeah, another detention sphere. At some point that would be good, but right now not so much.
That's a go. Oh.
And of course, the fact that there's only 2 lands in play means that Judge's Familiar's ability that much more powerful.
Oh yeah.
The 3rd land from Staciwa there. Potentially meaning he would be doing a little bit of pumping on the attacks here.
Oh, definitely. How much? So if he pumps for everything, then
Dolar falls to 10.
Robin is definitely going to play the Devour Flesh. Well, well, last time I was wrong. I was wrong about any call I made, so I'm not going to say anything. So maybe probably Devour Flesh now.
Yeah, he's got to dig deep
Well,
at this point.
After he pump. If he doesn't pump, then there's no
Yeah,
real reason
I mean,
to do it.
but bear in mind, I mean, Devour Flesh is trading for Judge's Familiar.
So it's the only 2. All right.
Okay.
So we can keep the mana up for the gainsay.
The scary thing now, of course, is it means that there's more threats coming from
Yeah.
Staciwa. Anything could happen here. And a 1-mana threat, in some respects, the last thing that Dolar wants to see, because that means that those gainsays, they're still active, they're still live.
Are we gonna see more detention sphere? Actually, he knows about the gainsays.
Has to play the Devour Flesh here. And yeah, that's just going to trade for Judge's Familiar. Gives Staciwa a life. The life really not that important here, but...
Oh, and that's an island. Okay.
All right, now we've got some Magic the Gathering to play. Dolar, cagily, I mean, as soon as you play it, well, everyone knows it's the card you top deck, Robin. There's no need to sit back on that side of things.
Come on, just a little slow roll. Never hurts. No, I think it doesn't hurt you.
It hurts me a little bit.
So, is he gonna play Detention Sphere on the... Because now he can get greedy and just wait for the 4th land.
He can do that, yeah, but he doesn't have the 2nd white for his Supreme Verdict either.
Okay, the 4th land, that would be white.
Calling it.
Oh, what? So maybe he can just... Oh, okay. So he's going for it.
If by going for it you mean doing nothing at all.
They're going for joining the planes.
Yeah. Yeah, many cards in Robin Dolar's hand, very few of them doing a great deal for him right this moment in time. And 1 pump again on the Frostburn Weird. Staciwa quite happy to say, oh, let's swing in for 3 each turn, keep up gainsay and see what you can do.
He has 10 outs to draw a white mana untapped.
And a Dimir Charm here, the 1 removal spell that is going to get stopped by gainsay. The 1 instant speed removal spell, as opposed to like the likes of Doomblade and so on.
Marcin does not have a 4th land either. This game is tense. I don't know.
I don't know if I'd say it's a good game at this point, but it's definitely a tense one.
Yeah. Can you say that any tense game is a good game?
You just said it.
Yeah.
I mean, we got there. I mean, any game where at the end of it someone gets to walk away with a trophy is fairly tense. More tense than it would be without the trophy.
Right.
Toby Henker there watching on. He's doing our text coverage, so you will be able to read a full text version of this feature match on dailymtg.com comparatively soon.
So pump. Maybe he can actually play Dimir Charm on himself.
Oh, to smooth out his draws a little bit?
Yeah. A little bit, a lot. Find the white mana he's missing.
I think that's the play.
That could be it. That could be the play. So he's thinking about, should I play Dimmer Charm on the Frostbite Weird now? Considering he's going to pump it again and make it. Okay, so no Dimmer Charm.
Yeah, a little bit more damage coming through here.
Dimmer Charm is it on?
Yeah,
Yes.
on himself. There we go. So 3 abilities on there. The one that we're doing right here is look at the top 3 cards of your deck, put 1 back on the top and the other 2 in the graveyard. The other ones, just for your reference really, to show you quite how good this card is in the format. Destroy target creature with a power 2 or less. That's very good against the likes of Night Veil Spectre, Master of Waves and so on. Also Pack Rat some of the time. And then finally you can use it to counter a sorcery. Now there are not tons of sorceries in the format you want to counter, but
there's Thoughtseize as well.
there is Thoughtseize.
This one we didn't think of.
Thoughtseize, Museum Mortars, Divination, Duress. There's certainly a few options. Like there'll be times that you cast it for that, but most frequently it's killing the likes of Master of Waves and Night Veil Spectre.
Okay, so that meets against
This time it's sorting out draws,
So
or
this-
indeed drawing a counter spell.
This time the Detention Sphere is going to take the.
Yeah, because while he did find that white source, it comes into play tapped, but is that one staying on top? He's toying with his opponent now. Oh yeah, maybe.
And he's going to play Detention Sphere on the Frostbite Weird.
So now all of a sudden it's Staciwa it's most obvious that he's stuck on lands.
Yeah. Wow. So stays on top. Is he going to be greedy and not play Detention Sphere? Maybe that's the right play, but all right.
So that Detention Sphere there, kind of on the stack, it's like 3 colors. There we go, it's on the table, and there it is, eating Frostburn Weird.
What's his life now? Is it 8?
It's 7.
7? Okay.
There we go. 21 to the mono blue player. Just that 1 extra life thanks to Devour Flesh. It's going to take a little while for Judge's Familiar on his own to do that damage.
So Tassa is going to come online pretty soon. So,
But with more
bing.
D-Spheres in hand, how long is it going to stay there?
Oh, it's not going to stay there long. I think if Robin's top card is a land, he's in an okay shape. All right.
I tell you what, this top 8 for Robin Dolar has been a roller coaster ride.
Oh. It's not a land. Wow. So, yes.
This
Detention
turn,
Sphere
Detention Sphere.
on Tassa. This one, we saw coming.
Yeah. A shame that he can't build his board any further in the meantime, because whatever threat comes next, he can't stop it immediately, and he's going to be taking another point of damage, which on just 6 life, he doesn't have that many more points to deal with.
This is the turning point of the tournament, well, the tournament, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And of the game.
There is a 4th land for Staciwa he's just drawn.
He has a Bident of Tassa as well
Ooh.
in his hand.
We saw how powerful Biden and Thassa was last game.
But Bident without pressure, with only a familiar, it's the beginning, but might not be enough.
I mean, the fact that 2 Detention Spheres are gone, how many ways of dealing with the Biden once it's in play does Robin Dolar have left?
He has Supreme Verdict. Well, if he plays Bident now, he's going to draw a card, but then Robin is going to be able to play his Jace and up it for 5.
He has gone with the
yes.
Biden.
Attack for 1, draw a card.
Little peck, draw a card. Didn't quite see what that one was, but I'm sure that
I think it was a Jace.
every card's good. And there's a land.
these Sphinx Revelation are not going to be good anytime soon.
And look, so many players there trying to get a good view of these last turns of the tournament. Jace
So up
immediately
Jace.
+1.
Biden is not going to do much yet. Oh, he has another Biden.
The second Biden,
And the Jace.
none too exciting.
But Jace, pretty exciting.
Absolutely. The most exciting the Planeswalkers historically. Done all sorts of different bits and bobs.
Here it is.
And unlike the Jace on the other side of the board, +1 not really something he needs to worry about anytime too soon. Let's have a look at the top 3 cards.
Creature, creature, Gainsay.
The old 3-spell Jace. Not what Dolar would have wanted to see. And he's got a Supreme Verdict, so in some respects, letting a creature or two get on the board, not the end of the world, but...
But the problem is that he's not going to play all of them at the same time. Next turn, Robin is going to be able to activate his own Jace. So maybe he wants to kill the bird too.
What sort of game do you want to play, Marcin? Do you want to play control or do you want to play aggro? I'm going to give you the
He's
option
gonna
with
take
one
the
Jace
creature. I
spec.
think he's going to take the creatures. He's never going to be untapped again. He has a Gainsay already in hand. He's not planning to play it anytime soon.
So that Gainsay going on the bottom. What can Dolar do from here?
So
Du-du-du-du-du.
another land.
And in some respects, you know, the control deck does always want its lands, but
Well, now, how many Sphinx Revelations he had? He's only one, right? Yes.
yeah. Lots of carefully taken notes there. Obviously, with a fair amount of information about what's in Staciwa's hand, it would be unfortunate for him to play into something that he didn't need to.
So do you up the Jace right now?
And I think you do just because you don't want to be giving away cards effectively.
And play Sphinx Revelation for 2? Will you have any better options to play it?
Well, he's trying to find a few more options. Syncopate, Godless Shrine, Azorius Charm.
The Charm is a really good card now.
Will Staciwa see it the same way?
This game is actually super exciting. So many options, so many ways to play it.
Yeah, the fact that Robin Dolar is on such low life means that every point counting and, yeah, having to play it super carefully.
Alright, so what are the piles? Land Syncopate or Azorius Charm? Wow. That's tricky. Land Syncopate?
He's gone for 2 cards.
Alright.
Always alluring to get a couple of cards on those sorts of splits. And immediately plays the land. One less
So is he
card
going to
to
be fine with
think about.
taking 1 damage from the familiar? Just for a card? I think it's fair to say that he's gonna he will do it. Or is the familiar going to attack Jace? Alright, so Marcin's plan is going to motion. He just drew Mutavolt. Mutavolt is one of the cards Marcin wanted to draw.
And he'll be very, very happy now that that Azorius Charm went to the bottom,
Yeah.
because less instant speed ways of dealing with Mutavolt is exactly what he wants to see.
So probably attack you, yes. Or draw a card.
Let's see if we can see what he draws here. Another land. Okay.
Robin winning is so far away. Like first he has to establish control, and it's far from being done. And then he will need to either play Pack Rat or Etherling. I don't know if he kept his Etherlings, but it's far from one. If Robin has to win this game,
Which he does. It's the last game of the match.
well, he has to win this game, but for him.
Yeah.
But if he's to win this game,
Mhm.
it's gonna take a while.
We have all the time in the world.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean to say we don't want to see Marcin take a decision pretty soon, because we want to keep the match moving.
All right.
So this I guess the thing when you have Biden in play, you're drawing that many more cards, so many more options, so many more lines of play that you can potentially take. Now he's got the Mutavault, he's got a whole new line open to him that seems like a pretty good one, I think.
So what about Jace? He has a Jace, he has 4 mana and a Mutavault in hand. So probably just up the Jace. I don't see a reason to draw more cards now. He has enough business in hand to do everything he wants.
So can't quite see what that was that he played. Hopefully we'll get our...
No, there's a Mutavault up there. So this one is probably resolving.
There we go.
Thank you.
Sneaky cheeky Mutavault trying to hide. I'm sure that he'd be quite happy if Robin Dolar didn't realise it was in play.
This one is probably resolving.
Yeah, it feels to me like time to pull the trigger on that Supreme Verdict. And Jace plus ones.
Jace, yeah.
More draws later. Do just fine.
All right, so what's going on? What else do you want to play? Nothing. Let's go.
All right. Off the top, there's another Sphinx's
Another
Revelation.
Revelation.
And Jace revealing a few more. Hallowed Fountain, Temple of Silence, and Temple of Deceit.
2 lands for me, 2 lands for me.
Yeah.
It had to come down to this at some point.
Yeah.
Like he has not been drawing lands for a while.
So clearly he takes the 2 land pile. He was never going to be able to get 2 scry lands in one pile.
Yeah. So Skryland plays Supreme Verdict.
That seems like the line. And he's going to take a couple off Mutavault next turn, but there wasn't a huge amount he could do about that. Quickly puts another card on the bottom of his deck.
And Supreme Verdict.
Pew pew.
That's the sound of Supreme Verdict.
Yeah, you know.
Pew pew.
So Judge's Familiar, Night Veil Spectre, both are goners, but Mutavault still being in play means that Robin Dolar's life total shortly to drop by half. And lots of players looking in there. You can see Simon Gertzen, one of our coverage reporters, who is normally sat next to me, but this tournament he was playing an interesting black-white deck, but right now just trying to crane in and see as much information as he can about this final match in Grand Prix Vienna.
So if Marcin knew Robin's hand, he would just go for the attacking with Mutavault and passing. I think that would be the best line.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he plays a spell, he's gonna want to battle for it. Maybe play Genseis, not attack, leaving Robin to 4. And then Robin's gonna untap and play Sphinx Revelation for as much as he can.
Yeah. Yeah, because he's a little bit stuck on mana. He can't do everything that he really wants to here. So, whoa. Here comes Mutavault. Now he's got Rapid Hybridization in his hand, and that kind of like, it's kind of cool because he knows that even then if there is a removal spell for the Mutavault, he could just turn it into a 3/3. As it is, gets through just fine. Dolar on 2. And was that a Master of Waves he drew?
No, it's like Clouds and
Okay.
Raptors.
There's a land.
Huh.
Tell you what,
Husbandward maybe.
it's pretty tempting.
Cloudfin Raptor.
Cloudfin Raptor, there it is.
All right. This one resolves probably. No. Yes. No. All right. Oh. He
Oh.
He. Oh yeah. Maybe using that before Raptor.
And it's on one counter, so it's
Yeah.
there's only one mode that he can go with on the Jace. Oh, sorry, it was on 3 there. Now use it. So
2 lands and he's definitely taking the lands.
already got one of them. Don't need any more. And gets to.
Is he playing his weird now or not?
No, he's just discarding his Biden.
All right.
Mana up, passing with 7 cards in hand and some counter spells.
Oh wow. Drawing a detention sphere.
Oof.
Oof.
So
+1.
it's not
That doesn't
over
do
yet.
much. That doesn't do much against Mutavault, but it's.
Mutavault on its own though, not ending the game.
So what's the plan here? Is he going for a Sphinx Revelation for 2? Or for 3? Yeah, I think that might be what he has to do.
Yeah, doing it for the most he can while keeping
Yeah.
counter back up to actually resolve it.
He has to go for 3, yes.
And he has to go for it now because he
Yeah.
can't afford to let Staciwa untap and have more mana.
That's well played.
So
Yep.
here's a gainsay.
And that's Gensei.
Gainsay back.
No, me first. No, me first.
Everyone's clutching their mouths. Both in the crowd and both players. So now Sphinx's Revelation puts Dolar up to 5. There's another gainsay and another D-sphere.
Still nothing to deal with the Mutavault.
And he's hybridizing his own Cloudfin Raptor here just to get a bit more power on the board, trying to negate most of the life gain from that Sphinx's Revelation.
So he's gonna attack for 3 next turn.
Yeah.
Putting Robin down to 2.
And there's a Thassa.
Tasawa.
I mean, we know that there's detention spheres in the future, but
Yeah, but Robin needs also to draw with Sphinx Revelation, so he cannot do everything. Is Marcin holding another counterspell? No.
so
Okay, so now if Marcin plays the Tassa, this like the whole package, the Planeswalker, the artifact, the creature, and the land,
wow.
all the angles, huh?
Yeah, there's a limit to how many of those Robin can deal with, and
Yeah.
I think that limit is lower than that number of threats. So Here comes the team. Frog, lizard, and everything type creature.
So both frogs are attacking.
Both the frog lizards coming in.
Team frog.
And they're going for Jace.
So both frogs are
Just so, yeah.
dealing damage.
Yeah, the only drew one card because the Mutavault went for Dolar, and the it's just a frog lizard rather than all of the other creature types went for
Both
Jace.
frog lizards, actually.
Yeah, but one's got a few other types as well.
Okay. All right.
One's a mutant ninja frog lizard.
And Thassa.
And go.
That's a lot of stuff to deal with.
It's on
So
you,
where
bro.
should
What have you got?
Where should I start?
Well.
So I deal with the frog. I deal with the. No. There's not much Robin can do here.
From all angles, this match just surrounded by spectators, and then there's all of us watching on screens, both here on the other side of the room and all over the world.
Actually, 1 million people watching the stream. So let's start with the tension sphere. On
One suggestion from the chat: merciless eviction plus maybe a couple more merciless evictions. Well, there goes Thassa. It's a start. It's a pretty good start.
Then he doesn't have any more detention sphere to deal with Biden and Jace.
Well, he has one more detention sphere.
Yeah. Yeah, well, after that, he doesn't have any more.
It turns out,
They
I remember hearing Guillaume say that if he could play more than 4 detention sphere, he would. I'm pretty sure that Robin Dolar feels exactly the same right now.
Like, how do you do when you have to play detention sphere on the lizard, which is the one creature you have the most answers to?
Yeah.
It's Azorius Charm with Doomblade with. See how good Ratchet Bomb would be right now?
Oh wow, yeah. So all
Alright,
4
so
detention
and
spheres done for.
So he has.
Does he have a Frostburn weird to just
I think so.
pump up a little bit?
A little bit. That would be good enough. Oh no, he has a gainsay. Oh. So with 2 creatures would be good. Oh no, he has the 2 creatures.
We could be very close here.
So let's see, what can happen? If I play my 2 creatures, can he deal with all of them? Also, I have a Jace, just in case.
It's a nice feeling, this one. Pretty sure I've got it. I just kind of want to be super double sure I've got it. My opponent's got 2 lands up. I've got loads of spells. And the worst thing that can go wrong is maybe I have to kill him the following turn.
Yeah. Like, play the first one and see what happens. And see if you have to thinking through a lot more.
Yeah. So
if he taps out, then you win. And you only want one thing. It's like, yes, tap out, I win.
start out with Thassa. What do you think about Thassa?
All right, I win. Again, say that's what I wanted to see. All right, it's gone. I play another guy. Which one you want to see? This one? You like this guy?
Nightveil Spectre.
Yes.
Very quickly evolves. Very quickly makes the Mutavault. Big handshake there. Congratulations to Marcin Staciwa, winner of Grand Prix Vienna 2013. Whew. Immediately ready for the presentation of the trophy there. Glenn White, our tournament organizer.
Magic players of GP Vienna, we have a winner, Marcin Staciwa!
Big smiles there already from Staciwa as he picks up his trophy, another Polish winner of another Grand Prix Vienna. And we're going to get Marcin in here very, very shortly to tell us exactly how he feels. I think we've probably got a fair idea. The Polish crowd there, always very keen supporters of their countrymen when they're doing well. And it looks like for the second time, Grand Prix Vienna, all about Poland. Whew, that was quite the final.
Whew, it was interesting. It was very interesting.
And yeah, we hear Robin getting his trophy. I mean, it's not a winner's trophy, but you know, it still stands on a mantelpiece.
Still looks good on the shelf.
He can't be too sad. And that's actually the first win of Mono Blue since Pro Tour Theros. But I think it's been clear for a little while now quite how good it is. And it looks like Marcin heading across. So I'm going to have to boot you out of the area very shortly.
I want my spot back afterwards.
I'm sure we'll find someone to keep it warm for you. Just going to get a microphone over on here on Marcin. He will be coming across with his trophy, looking rather pleased with himself. And right after this, we've got a few extra deck techs for you. So there's plenty of standard action still to come. And of course, next week in Dallas, we've got another standard GP. Why not? Rich will be there. Look at this. Check it out. A Grand Prix trophy winner. Congratulations, Marcin. It's been a long slog. It's been a long weekend.
Yeah, it is.
Did you have any buys?
Yeah, I had 2 from GPT.
2 from a GPT.
Yeah.
So you have played 16 rounds of Magic this weekend.
Oh, 16? Yeah, I think so.
And you came along with Mono Blue. I think it's safe to say Mono Blue, the best deck in the tournament.
Yeah, I have to say that. I mean, I wrote in the paper with what you think is the best deck and why do you make the choice. I wrote that it's easy to play and it's hard to beat. I think it's what describes the deck.
You say it's easy to play. There's so many different angles, so many different lines of attack that you can take.
Yes, but I think in this format it's more important to create threats than seek answers. And that's why I chose it, but not Esper. Esper is much more hard to play and it's really tough.
I mean, we saw that in the finals. You had, on that last turn, you know, Dolar was stood there going, well, you've got a Planeswalker, you've got a legendary artifact, you've got Mutable, you've got a couple of creatures. There's so many different things to deal with, and he already had 3 detention spheres. He had to play all 4 detention spheres, and you still had all of these threats.
I think the difference made the Bident, because when you have the Bident in play, your opponent just have to kill every single creature. Is a lethal threat.
Your 1/1 Judge's Familiars were suddenly these card-drawing machines that can sometimes counter spells and just do everything. So
exactly.
Just a very, very powerful deck, masterfully piloted the whole weekend. You're going to be going to the Pro Tour now.
Yeah, for sure.
and you've got your trophy back for the cabinet, taking it back to Poland.
Yeah.
The second successive Polish GP Vienna winner. Oh. Last time it was
Best
Polish level blue. Yeah, doing very, very well. And we look forward to seeing you at the Pro Tour. Congratulations again.
Thank you again.
Marcin.
Thank you very much.
See you soon. And we wish you well on your travel back.
Yeah.
Keep this safe.
Thank you.
Big rounds of applause here from the Polish fans and from fans around the world, because we're finishing things up here, but for you at home that are watching the video, we've got 3 more deck techs for you. In the meantime, we've got a bit of packing up to do, some food to eat, some good times to be had. We're going to leave you with these deck techs, but from me, Tim Willoughby, from Raphael Levy, Frank Karsten, Toby Henker on text, from Rich Hagen, from Stephen Leeming, and from everyone here at Vienna, thank you. Have a great holiday season, the last GP in Europe. Go to Dallas next week for more standard, but from here, it's goodbye. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.